And traveling by train is a delightful way to go. It's just an hour and a half to get from Rome to Florence by train. And we check into our hotel, which is quite close to the station in the heart of the town, and immediately get outside and take a walk, get our bearings, get our orientation, take a look at some of the highlights of Florence. The Ponte Vecchio crossing the Arno River is one of the great places in Florence. It's a good picture of it from the Uffizi side, and you can see the other bridges across the river. We take time for a little shopping as we walk along, and we also have a walking tour with our guide Anne, who has taken us through Florence on World Traveler many times. And we also go visit some museums, of course, in Florence, the home of the Renaissance. It's a city of art, and the Pitti Palace has got a fabulous collection. Then on to dinner. This is on the rooftop of our hotel. The Baglioni Hotel has got a nice outdoor restaurant right up on the roof. It's a very safe and friendly place. Florence is a compact city, and we're visiting inside the Duomo Cathedral, the great structure with the dome designed by Brunelleschi, and on into the streets of the city to enjoy the street markets. It's a great place for shopping. Florence, of course, is famous for its leather goods, leather jackets, purses, wallets, lipstick containers, belts, and shoes, as well as t-shirts and all sorts of other souvenirs that you can find here in the San Lorenzo Market. It goes for about 6 blocks right in the heart of the city, a few blocks over from the Duomo, and the market's open all day long until about 7 p.m. Gili's is one of the fine, exclusive cafes of the city. They're located here on the Piazza della Repubblica in the heart of town. And after some walking, you'll be ready to sit down and enjoy yet another meal. So what are you all having? A seafood salad?
Yeah. Seafood salad.
We had an antipasto plate and Greek salad.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a Greek salad. It's one salad with, well, he finished now, but there was a Greek salad with olives, with tomato, lettuce, radish, onions, and feta cheese. It's one, it's one Italian cheese, very good. And then the lady have it, but now it's done as well.
Nothing there.
Nothing there, except the lettuce. There is the octopus, calamari, mussels, clams, all the stuff.
Better than I thought. A dream come true.
Yeah. That was a favorite restaurant next to the San Lorenzo Market. Then we hopped on the city bus, riding the public bus through the back streets of Florence. This was kind of an interesting journey of discovery of the behind the scenes, the real city, the place where the local people actually live, kind of like the backstage of Florence. And then crossing the Arno, we are heading with a purpose up the hill to this splendid view. We're going to Piazza Michelangelo, and there's a copy of the great David statue up here. The city bus drops us off, and right away we get this astonishing, wonderful view. It's a great place to get your snapshots, stand in front of that great vista of the city with the Duomo rising above all of these other buildings with their old clay tile roofs, with the Arno River in the foreground. It's an ideal spot for a group picture too. Here we are, the Hawaii group on our World Traveler voyage of discovery through Europe. And they've got some souvenir stands at the Piazzale as well. And of course we always take some time for souvenir shopping, pick up some postcards or silk scarves or little prints that are nicely framed, or refrigerator magnets, or anything that says Florence on it, as long as it's not too big, heavy, or too expensive. And then it's really an easy walk back down to the city. Just go down the staircase. Takes about 10 minutes to walk down the staircase, and you end up at the bottom of the hill, and you go through this impressive gateway that was part of the old medieval wall that stretched around the city. Really quite something. You don't see the wall and the gates when you're back in the center of town, but out here on the edge, there it is. So we passed through this gateway, and it's cool and shaded here. It's a narrow lane. And then you continue walking another 10 minutes through some really quite interesting Renaissance street scenes. We're across the Arno now in what's called Oltrarno. And we're heading ultimately back to the Ponte Vecchio and back into the heart of historic Florence. A nice view of the Ponte Vecchio as we cross this old bridge. It's famous for its goldsmiths. Then you get this splendid vista of the Ponte Vecchio, and today we saw some scullers going by rowing. There's a boathouse boat club right on the other side of the river. That's right in front of the Uffizi Gallery. And so it's a pretty active river, nice place for rowing. Continuing over a few blocks to the Piazza Santo Spirito in front of the church of the same name. And this is a wonderful open marketplace. It's mostly for locals, and it features a lot of handcrafted goods as well as organic produce and special olive oils, organic wines, some jams and condiments, and you can pick up some clothing here as well. They've got some nice knitted caps and scarves and cheeses and wholesome breads. Great spot. We're looking at some statues on the outside of an old building called Orsan Michele. Nanni di Banco created these for figures, and you have smaller figures down below them showing the craftsmen and the guild persons. There are saints. There are heroes of the church on the outside of Orsan Michele. The building itself dates back to 1337. And these sculptures are largely from the 1400s and 1500s. There's St. Peter holding the key to heaven, the outside of Orsan Michele. It was a grain warehouse for a while, and then became a church. Now it's open as a museum. They have active workshops here to replace and restore some of the statues that are on the outsides of the buildings. The Duomo is constantly a work in progress, for example, the great cathedral. And we are now moving along. That brings to a close our segment in Florence. Continuing along, we're moving from Florence by train up to Venice.